Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a eyeshadow pigment tutorial today. I've had lots of requests for that and eyeliner, so I'm going to kind of try to break it up. So I've got everything laid out and ready to go. I'm just going to wing it with the colors. I thought I would do something a little different. I've noticed I follow a lot of makeup artists on Instagram, and so they've been doing a lot of the brown up here and then dark kind of smoky eye with two colors and then faded into light. So kind of that's what I'm going to try to attempt today, so bear with me. I've got lots of things lined out today, so as you can see, there's my color palette for the day. And I'll kind of go over with you as I'm using it what colors I'm using, so if you have questions further, then you'll know what to get or to purchase if you're interested in using the pigments with Unique. So without further ado, let's get this started. I've got my Glorious Face Primer all over my face, so the pigments have something to attach to, and they stay longer, and then they don't, throughout the day, they don't settle in your crease by using that primer, or a primer in general. So I really recommend starting out with a primer, a face primer, before you do anything. Even if you're not wearing pigments or eyeshadow, as long as you're wearing foundation or powder, I definitely recommend a primer. So I'm going to start with the brown, which today I am using Irresistible, which is kind of a light brown. So I've got some here in my cap, and I'm just going to dab a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to start with the crease. Pretty simple. It's a really light brown, so it's more of a neutral. You can layer it. And I'm just kind of going in my corner just a little bit. This is something I also learned at the MAC counter back in the day when I would go and sit and they would do my makeup and I would ask them how they were doing it. This is a great tool. It's just kind of an outline tool, is to use a light brown like this. Just to kind of outline where you want to put color and the shape that you want to put it. So nothing special, I'm just kind of going back and forth, getting more on my brush. Want to make sure it's pretty even on both sides. Pretty even. I mean, that alone is just a really cool color. I just love it. It's pretty neutral. It's not super fancy, but if you want an everyday look, something like this would be ideal. I'm also going to do my highlighter right now. Most people wait till the end to do that, but I like to do it beforehand. That way I can kind of blend it in. I'm using Innocent, which is just kind of it's a matte kind of cream color. I'm not going to do shiny today. Just kind of highlight the brow there. Okay. So now I'm going to attempt using my favorite color, which is Precarious. And it's a navy blue. I love it. I don't know why. I just think it's so pretty. So I'm just kind of tap this in the corner. So right now you'll see that it's kind of a light navy blue. But let me show you when you use rose water and you get the pigments wet. So now it's going to be a little bit creamy. See how darker it gets? More vibrant. So I'm just sort of tapping it in the corner. About half of my eyelid there. Get my brush wet again to do the other side. When you get it wet with pigments, because it's loose powder and it becomes creamy, you can kind of smear it. You can kind of work with it a little bit more. If you're using just pigments without a primer or without getting them wet, I should say without a primer period, if you're using pigments without a primer on your eye, the pigments are just going to kind of go everywhere because it's loose powder. It has nothing to adhere to and stick to. So that's something to think about when you're using pigments. If you're using them just dry but with a primer, then they're going to stick better. You can still use them and blend them and have fun with them. But I like to get them a little bit wet because they are a little bit more dramatic. So if you are looking for that smoky eye, getting them wet definitely helps. Now I'm going to go back with my Irresistible, which is my light brown. And I'm just going to kind of go back in that crease and kind of bring it down. Lightening it up a little bit. Blending them together. And then for fun, I am going to use Regal, which is a shiny, Precarious, I'm sorry, was a matte navy blue. Then I'm going to bring in my shimmer Regal, which is a purple. I think it's super pretty. And I'm not going to get that wet, my brush wet. I'm going to use it as a dry pigment. And I'm just going to kind of blend it in with the Precarious to start. And I'm blending inwards towards my eye. Going in circles always helps. And I never do my foundation or anything previous to putting on eyeshadow because especially with loose powders and loose pigments, they tend to get everywhere. So my first coat basis is just kind of putting the purple all over, all over the eyelid. So you can kind of see the two colors there. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is she doing? It looks like I don't know what it looks like, but again, I'm not done. So now that I've kind of got my base on, I'm going to get my brush wet and go back to the Regal purple, get it creamy. See how you can see it half and half here? See how it blends in there? I'm going to bring it underneath. Not as an eyeliner, I'm just bringing it underneath for color to add to that smokiness. Do the same thing to the other side. And you may be thinking, wow, this is really dark. This is a great evening look. This is a great going out look. Smoky eye, not using blacks. Creating it with different colors like purples, navy blues. Okay, so you can still see some of that brown. Just doing the crease again. And again, I'm just doing this one dry. I'm not doing it wet for the brown. Okay, so now you're all thinking, what? So now I'm going to add Sexy, which is my favorite color. It's a shimmer color, and it's kind of got a little bit of, I guess, pink in it, but it's more like a shimmer cream to me. And this is how I always do the inside of my eye. So this is a way to lighten it up. If you think it's too dark, always do something like that, lighter in the corner. Blending is all about bringing it back over the other colors. Doing a light highlight in the corners of your eye, make your eyes appear bigger. I don't know if you've ever heard that. You can still see the dark in the corners. And you're gonna, obviously your goal is to get it to go lighter as you go in. Now if you think, oh, I've done it too light and I don't see the dark anymore, then you just go and get just go back and get your whatever color. If you want to do the blue, the Precarious, and just kind of swoop it inwards really lightly. You don't want to push hard because you just want to add a little bit more color. You don't want to do a lot. And then if you think, oh, I don't have enough purple, just grab a little bit of purple and kind of start where you left off with the blue. And then just lightly, swoop your brush with the pigment towards the inner of your eye. Using the brown again, I'm just kind of starting up here and bringing it down. Trying to blend those lines at the top there. And then I'm going to use Innocent again, which is my matte cream for my highlighter, just to kind of top it off. And bringing it down to blend. So that's kind of my evening smoky look, blending multiple colors. Now if you really want to go and make it really bright in the corners, which is what I do using my everyday 2-color look, which is just a color in the corner and then just the Sexy or Curious shimmer in the insides, you would get a brush wet and dip it into the Sexy, make it creamy. And then again, just do the corners. And that kind of just makes it to where it's creamy and shimmery in that one corner of your eye. Opens it up a little bit. Now you don't have to do that. It's up to you. You can kind of see the difference with and without it. See how it kind of shimmers there? Depends on the look you're going for. Again, I just kind of blot it and blend it sort of in with the rest of the colors. Lightly, I'm not pushing very hard at all. There you are.